right, good morning everybody. Happy Friday. I have new hair. I think most of you, let's see, I got it after the live stream last Friday. So I've had it a week now, and I've been on some calls, so some of you have seen it already. And yeah, I'm liking it. I am so excited for today, you guys, because we're going over Booksmatch. Of course, I have to get it all set up, but I'm so excited. I know that when we've been waiting for it to go live, and it finally went live, and then some people were surprised and taken aback, and so we're gonna go over everything. And I have my pen and notebook right here so that I can keep track of all of your guys' feedback. You may have feedback from what you have seen and played around with already. You, after today, you're going to play around with some features. I'm going to show you some things, and hopefully you will have some more feedback coming. So, hello, my name is Margie Remmers-Davis, and I am the creator of the Fast and Easy Way to QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor certification. And this is the live stream that we hold every week inside of our group, the QBO Gym Locker Room. This is a free Facebook group, and it is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. And trust me, today we're going to see exactly how it all fits together. It's very exciting. But anyway, so this is all we do. We are totally focused on hands-on practice. And there's two reasons that we do that. Number one, it's for you to get hands-on practice so that you can actually learn by doing. We believe that practice makes profit. And watching a YouTube video is entirely different than actually working and doing the thing in QuickBooks Online. So when you are a part of the QBO Gym Locker Room, you get a free Getting Started course. This course is going to teach you how to get your free QBOA account, your free QBO Accountant account, how to navigate the account. It's going to talk about some terminology, how to access the sample company. You're going to get some hands-on exercises actually using the sample company so that you can get acclimated. Also inside the group, we have over 100 absolutely free exercises. People are always asking me where to find them. So if you scroll down to the featured section, there's a tab here. Mine looks a little bit different because I'm an admin, but you should all have a featured section. So in the featured section, there is a post, over 100 free hands-on exercises, and when you click on that, that's where you access the free exercises. Also, you get a free exercise of the week when you attend our weekly live streams, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, inside of the group, and that's what we are doing here today. The exercise of the week is actually a feature of the QBO Gym. The QBO Gym is our subscription product. That's a little big for you, isn't it? There we go. So the QBO Gym is a full year, 1 year plus of simulated bookkeeping experience. So it solves the problem, how do I get experience without a job? I can't get a job without experience. Okay, so this is, like Joe will put in here shortly, he usually says, it is like a flight simulator for being a bookkeeper. So you actually get to be a bookkeeper. There is year one, which is step by step. You walk in and it starts in February, but that's just random. And it is, you go in and you process the money that has come in for our fictitious business owner, you process bank feeds, you send out invoices and pay bills. Every issue, so every month there is a deep dive into a particular topic. The first one is estimates and purchase orders. We have project tracking, we have billable charges, and it goes on inventory and sales tax and not payroll, but journal entries. So every month, every issue is you go a deep dive. And this is all the difference between the QBO Gym and the free exercises is the free exercises are just one-off exercises. You're just learning a particular feature, and you just learn that particular feature. Here's an exercise to do that feature. The gym is comprehensive, so you are actually seeing how that exercise fits into the full into the full month of actually doing the bookkeeping. Like, what is the scenario? What is going on? There is a little animated video that tells you what's going on with Craig, and then you are always reconcile accounts, you run reports, and it's always related to, you know, what you learned that month. So anyway, so that is the QBO Gym. Now the QBO Gym is connected to your Booksmatch dashboard. And the Booksmatch dashboard has been completely redesigned, and we just released our new design this past week. And so that's what we're going to spend the majority of our time on today. And we're going to talk about Booksmatch. We're going to see how it ties in, and then we're going to do the exercise of the week, because the whole reason we have the exercise of the week, which is not just for our weekly calls inside the gym, that's an added benefit, but the real reason we have the exercise of the week is for your Booksmatch skill points. Okay, so let me go, I'm not sure which one it is. All right, so here is Kim. Okay. And Booksmatch is our dashboard for all of our courses. Okay, so anybody that has any of our courses, we automatically give you a Booksmatch account. But you won't be able to do anything with it. You won't be able to track your stats or anything like that unless you are a subscriber to the QBO Gym. And so when we first released it, everybody was like, people who weren't in the gym saw all of these awful numbers, and they're like, what the heck? And so we've graded out, we've made a message, so hopefully that is better. So on the left-hand side, which is kind of been the same, this is where you access all of your courses and you can update all of your profiles. So when you first sign up for your account, the profile picture is this little weirdo guy, which you'll notice is the same weirdo guy in year 2 of the gym. I didn't even talk about year 2. There's so much to talk about with the QBO Gym. Oh my gosh. So you want to make sure, and you'll see when I show you this on the recruiter side, you'll see why this is so important. You want to make sure and update your picture. So the picture has to be under 1 megabyte. So make sure that is, it's under 1 megabyte. And so that's like the first thing. Okay, so we'll talk about these first 2 things here in a little bit. Okay, so then we have just kind of a tracker to complete your profile. Here's all of the stuff that Kim is missing. Kim doesn't have a profile picture. Can you see? Maybe I make that, how do I make that a little bigger for you? Let's see. There we go. That's better. So Kim doesn't have a profile picture. Kim doesn't have a basic level certification, a payroll certification, and she doesn't have any reviews. Okay, so that is all stuff that she needs to fill in her stuff. So this is where go to my courses. This is how you load up any courses that you have signed up for. So when you click that, you get a little thing here of all of these different courses. That's how you access those. So LinkedIn profile, you can connect to LinkedIn, but you want to make sure and use the HTTPS version of the link. So if you get if you just are using HTTP, then you'll get an error. So make sure that you are using the HTTPS. In fact, I'm going to ask them to change the error message so that it actually says that. Because right now it just says, please use a valid LinkedIn thing or something like that. So yeah, add your LinkedIn profile, make sure it says HTTPS, okay? This is where you add your certifications. And what you're actually adding is the actual certificate. Don't upload the badge because the badge doesn't have your name on it. So you want to upload the actual certificate. And as you'll see, when we head over to the recruiter side, they can actually see your certificate. So that's why that's really important. And then reviews, because we don't have an internal review system yet. These are just links to your ProAdvisor page and if you have Google reviews set up. And then under basic info, here is your name, here's your bio stuff. If you saw my email, this flexible for some reason. So this is your, what we call employment type. So this is basically what you're looking for. Are you looking for full-time? Are you looking for part-time? Are you looking for contract work? Or are you flexible, meaning you could be any of these, okay? As I mentioned in that newsletter, which hopefully you guys all got that this morning. In the newsletter, I mentioned that this flexible for some reason disappeared for a while. And we don't know why, but it's back. So if you are open to all of these things, then make sure that you go in and select that. Okay, so that is your basic info there. I'm going to come back to this. Well, actually, let me say, open to work. This is what allows your profile to be available for recruiters or hiring managers, people hiring bookkeepers to find you. Okay, so you have to have an active subscription to the gym. If you have an active subscription to the gym, you can turn this on. If you do not, you won't be able to turn this on. But if you do have an active subscription and you don't want your stuff shown yet, you don't feel like you're ready for clients or whatever, then you can turn that off. And then I'm super excited about this. By popular demand, we had people ask us, can we share our Booksmatch Booksmatch profile with people on other platforms or put it on my website or whatever? And the answer is yes. So you now can, if you click this, it'll copy your link to the clipboard, and you'll be able to show this to somebody else. Okay. Would your coworkers or bosses on LinkedIn be able to see you started a side hustle if you link your Booksmatch? If you okay, so this right here, okay, this LinkedIn profile is only one direction. So it's it gives people the ability to find you on LinkedIn. It doesn't go the opposite direction. So people on LinkedIn aren't good just by putting it here. People on LinkedIn are not going to find you. No. This up here, this share button, if you wanted to put it somewhere on LinkedIn, you would put this in your LinkedIn profile. And then once it's in your LinkedIn profile, then yes, people on LinkedIn would be able to find you. Okay. So this is the one you would put in LinkedIn. Yes, people would find you. This, just by putting your LinkedIn profile here, doesn't mean that anyone on LinkedIn So they each go a different direction. Okay, guys, we haven't even started on the stats yet. We're still just working on that left bar. Okay, let's see. Lindsay says, could the flexible option still work all right for those just wanting part-time and full-time if you don't have a business started yet and may just be looking for W-2 employment, or would another option be good to add? So if you specifically are not looking for W-2 employment, then you want to select contractor. Okay, so contractor is I don't want full-time, I don't want employment, I don't want a W-2 job, I'm only taking contract work. Flexible means that it could be anything. Yeah, maybe I'll take a job, maybe I'll take contract work. It's anywhere in there. Billy says, how do you add QBO Pro Advisor and Google reviews? So what you want to do is go to your page. It's quickbooks.intuit.com/find-and-accountant. And here is where your profile lives. So if you put in your zip code and you find your profile, so here's my profile, okay? So now notice right here, there's this link here. I can't make it any bigger. But once you're on your profile, then there's a link there, okay? And that link is what you're gonna grab to put in here. So here is what can you see that? So here's what my link looks like. It's https ProAdvisor, intuit.com, app, accountant, search, and then there's like my name and everything. Okay, so that's how you add that. And then once that's added, I don't have Google reviews, but it's a similar thing. So you're going to go to your Google reviews page and you're going to grab the link, which is it's going to be like a crazy long link. And then you're going to put it in there so that you're just going to hit the plus and you're going to put it in there. And then that way people can go straight there. Diane says, if I log into Booksmatch, it says I need to have a subscription to the gym to use it. Yes, that's for the statistics part, which we haven't even talked about yet. But yes, all of this stuff on the right-hand side, which we'll go over in just a second after I answer everyone's questions, this is only available if you are an active subscriber to the gym, okay? On the left-hand side, all of this stuff is open to everybody, okay? And this is for everybody. This is how you access your courses. Under profile, is there an option to show that we are business owners rather than contractor? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean a firm owner versus a contractor? I don't know. Talk to me more about that later, because we do have like special options if you are a firm owner. So let's talk. Oh my gosh, it's 11:45. There's so much yet that I haven't even addressed. Oh my gosh. Okay, if you're a firm owner, Jean, then let's talk, because we do have special options for firm owners. Who are the recruiters you're working with? Is Booksmatch something employers pay for? Who is getting access, or how are you marketing it? I will get to that. Oh my gosh. Who was it that asked me how long these things go? I own my own bookkeeping business and I'm still considered a contractor. Yes, because the person hiring, because you will be a contractor for the person that is hiring you. For the person that's hiring you, you're either going to be a contractor or an employee. Okay, so an employee, you actually work for the company. A contractor, you just do side work for them. Most of us here in our community are contractors, meaning we have several clients and we do work. So yeah, So that is the difference between a contractor and employee. Yeah, when I click on complete my profile, it brings up a drop-down menu, but I'm not able to select location. Yes. So yeah, so I just noticed that too. This right here, when you select complete your profile, it just tells you what you need to do. It's not a link to take you to each of those things, but maybe it should be, because it does seem like you would think that it would do that, right? So yeah, I just made a note. I'll talk to the developers about that. All right. Oh my gosh. I'm at the end of the comments. Let's go back and talk more about, your profile now that we have, now the chat's going to explode for other questions. All right. So now that all we've talked about so far is this left-hand piece where it's just like the general information about you. Okay, so now let's talk about actually measuring your skills. Okay, so there are 3 things that we measure. Okay, your knowledge, consistency, and speed. Okay, now let me just back up for a minute. How do I get my, okay, let me back up for a minute and say that when we initially created the gym, it was just for you. It was just for you guys. I saw that there was a need for people. I heard all of these people saying, I can get experience, or how can I get experience without a job? I can't get a job without experience. You know, people saying, I got certified, I have my certification, I passed the test, but I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing. Okay, those were the overwhelming comments that I heard. And so I said, well, we can create a simulated environment where you can actually pretend like you are a bookkeeper. I mean, up until then, I had lots of experience creating hands-on exercises, but up until then, like I mentioned, they were all just one-off features. You just learned this feature, and then you learned this feature. And then I thought, well, why not, put it all together and present it in a way like you're actually doing the work. And then you do this like for a whole year, and you can get it done. You can knock it out quickly. Currently, year 1 of the gym takes 42 real-time hours. So in 42 real-time hours, you can simulate an entire year's worth of experience. You can say, yes, I have a year's worth of experience being a bookkeeper. And it's actually better than real experience, because the problem with real experience is that it is limited. I'm going to write this down because this is so, I'm speaking at Scaling New Heights in June, and I just realized this is really important to include in my in my presentation. Okay. All right. So the problem with real experience is that it's limited. It's only you could say I have years of experience being a bookkeeper, but maybe you were serving as a bookkeeper for a really simple client that wasn't using half the features in QBO. Okay. So yeah, you've got a year's worth of experience, but you still don't know all of these different features. So the great thing about the simulated experience is that we are actually force-feeding you. We're force-feeding you the challenges, the scenarios of when you might use all of these different features. So anyway, we created the gym for you to gain confidence in your own skills so that you could actually go and do this. And then I met a guy. I was in this mastermind, and I met this person. He's now my business partner. And he said, the most valuable thing you have is not your training, but your bookkeepers. And I realized how valuable you guys are. Like the world is so hungry for highly qualified bookkeepers. But people don't know how to hire a bookkeeper. They don't know these are not, unless your accounting firm hiring a bookkeeper and you know what you're looking. If you're a business owner, you don't know how to hire a bookkeeper. You don't know you don't know who's good. The problem with a resume is that a resume is just what somebody wrote about themselves. Okay. You could say that you went to the moon and on the latest, or we're on the space station or whatever. Nobody knows whether you did that or not. Okay. So a resume is just what you wrote about yourself. A certification, it just means that you can pass a test. Doesn't mean you actually know what you're doing. It just means you can pass a test. And if you're using Fast and Easy QBO materials, it was really easy for you to pass that test, wasn't it? And experience, what I always say is experience just means that you're old. I'm old enough, I can say I've been doing something for 20, 30 years. It doesn't mean I'm good at it. It just means that I'm old. Okay. So if we're going to show you guys off to recruiters, to people, businesses who are looking for bookkeepers, how do they know that you are actually any good at what you do? And the only way is to measure the fact that you are actually doing it. Okay. That's why we track all of these statistics. So we can say, what I heard over and over from firm owners actually is firm owners, they go through this whole process. They post a job opening. They're going to put their job opening on Indeed or LinkedIn or whatever. They post the job opening, and then people apply for the jobs. They go through all of these resumes and pick out the people that they think are good. They interview them, and then they make them take a test. Okay. And again, the test just means that you can pass the test. It doesn't mean that you actually know how to do it with your hands. And I heard over and over from firm owners, I hired this person and it turned out that they didn't know what they're doing. They didn't know their A from a hole in the ground. They couldn't actually click. So some of the hiring managers will actually sit with the person, talk through scenarios, watch them click the things. And boy, that's time consuming and it's hard. And they just don't have a good way of measuring that you know what you're doing. And so we said, well, I can measure that. I know exactly what they're doing. They're going in, they're doing these exercises. I know exactly what they're learning, what skills they're learning. We have over 200 skills that we actually track. As you're going through the gym, we track the things that you're learning. That was over 200 skills. At first, I loved my first design. I loved because it gave them like a wall of skills, oh my gosh, this person learned all of this stuff. But then it became overwhelming. So we organized it into skill groups. And so we can actually track that you're actually doing this. So as we are, so we started tracking, we were tracking it all the time, but now we're, what's the word I want? Conglomerate, is that the word? Getting all of that information of what you're doing and displaying it in a way that's going to be attractive to the people that want to hire you. Okay. So there are 3 key metrics that we are tracking. The first metric is knowledge. Your knowledge is really just the breadth of all of the skills that you are learning and reinforcing. Okay, so knowledge is wide. Okay, the breadth. Okay, the second thing is consistency. This is actually, even though I always say this is the second one, this is the most important thing is consistency. Are you regularly upskilling? Are you regularly reinforcing your skills, learning new ones? Okay. So there's a difference between a person from a hiring point. There's a difference between a person who is, has learned all of this stuff and then hasn't touched it for 6 months versus the person who is going, every week, going in there and learning more. If you're hiring somebody, which one would you rather have? Okay, you'd rather have the person that is actively upskilling. So the actual most important, the base metric is actually that consistency. We want to make sure that at a minimum, every 2 weeks, you are going in and upskilling something, okay? And then the third metric is speed. And speed doesn't mean like how fast you're going through the exercises, but how many skills you have earned in a week compared to other people. And it's the reason we have speed is super, super important, okay? It's super, super important because if knowledge is the breadth of stuff that you've learned, somebody who's been around for a long time is naturally going to have more breadth of knowledge, okay? And we don't want the scales to always tip in favor of the people who have been around a long time. That's not fair at all. Like if you're brand new and you're kicking butt and taking names and you're like trying to learn as much as possible, we want to reward you for that, okay? So you have your knowledge is the breadth, the speed is how quickly you're working on it. People who have a large breadth of knowledge, they're not going to be working as quickly. And so the people who are working quickly, we want to make sure that they are acknowledged, okay? So we want to make sure that it is balanced and that it is fair, and you get recognized when you are working hard, okay? All right, so let's see how this plays out. Now, Kim, as I mentioned, she's not been doing well. She has not been upskilling, but you'll be able to see here. And then we'll go on the live and I'll show off some of you guys that are. So here are the 3 key metrics, okay? The 3 key metrics are knowledge, consistency, and speed, okay? The consistency, and then these three together will form your rank and your label, okay? So the middle one is always the first one that we look at, is your consistency, okay? I was realizing that I need to do a blog post that has all of this written out, so you can go back and see like the numbers and how it works out, okay? So your consistency is measured in 3 groups. I think it's excellent, average, and poor, I think is what it says. So in order to be excellent, you have to, or high, maybe high consistency. I think that's what it is. High consistency means that you have upskilled at least one, if you've added 1 skill in the last 2 weeks. This is why we have the exercise of the week, is because if you've done everything, if you've been around forever, or you just kick butt and you've done everything, then you need a way for your consistency to refresh, okay? So your consistency, as soon as you get 1 within 2 weeks, then you're knocked up to green, okay? If it is greater than 2 weeks, but within 3 months, then you're average. And if it is over 3 months, then it is poor, okay? And your label will be always off this. So it'll be inconsistent if you're not consistently learning. If you're in the red, then it is always, it will say inactive, okay? So low consistency always means inactive. If you have average consistency, it will say inconsistent, okay? So you have to be in the green here in the middle for either of these, for it to budge, okay? So that means you have to upskill within 2 weeks, okay? So then we have your knowledge and or your speed. And I'll just show you what this equals. Okay, so this is our chart. There we go. Okay. So if you haven't done much in the way of knowledge, you haven't done much in the way of speed. So let's say you just did one exercise and that's it, but you haven't completed a bunch of knowledge already, then you'll be, it'll say below average learner. Now, I did get some feedback in the Facebook group that maybe this is not the right word. Maybe we should change this to below average talent. I don't know if you guys have different ideas. I'm certainly open to it. Okay, whether you're high in knowledge or high in speed, okay, then you're going to be average. This is higher. You're going to be average. And what this is measuring is if you are in the top 20%, you're going to be green. If you are in the bottom 20%, you are going to be red. And if you're in the middle anywhere, then you're going to be yellow. Okay. So it's the same whether you're higher in knowledge or higher in speed. This is what we're trying to balance. You're going to be average. Okay. You'll be above average if knowledge and speed are both high. And then we have these indicators of rising talent and top talent. Okay. Rising talent, remember I said we want to make sure that those of you who are working really fast and really kicking butt and trying to upskill, we want to reward you for that. So you get the label rising talent. And you'll see when I show you the recruiter side that they can actually filter for rising talent. And then you'll get the label top talent if you have high knowledge and it doesn't matter what your speed is. Okay, so top talent and rising talent, we're only looking at 2 out of the 3. Okay, because, and this is really important, is that again, the more knowledge you have, you're necessarily going to slow down. You can only be super fast for a period of time, okay? Because eventually you run out of, or you get close to running out of stuff. So that's why it's either speed or knowledge. It's rarely both. We do have this one. It's exceptional talent if both of them all 3 are green at the same time. But that usually doesn't happen very often. That usually happens just like when we release new content, like for a second or a day or two, you might be there at exceptional talent. So let's go back. So this is what we're talking about right here. And again, it's if you're in the top 20% or the bottom 20%, that's what determines the colors. We might change that because I was kind of thinking that the bottom 20%, I don't know, maybe we should make that different. I don't know. This is new. I'm totally open to your feedback. I want to know what makes you feel good, what's going to motivate you. I absolutely don't want to demotivate you, but I also want to reward the people who are working hard. Okay, now I'm going to stop right there and we'll just talk about this part, and let me see what questions we have. How do you determine or find what I've missed in my knowledge tile? I see 277 out of 293 verified skills. How do I find those other 16 skills? That is an excellent question. That is one of the things that is coming, that's coming soon. We don't have that. That is, it's an excellent question. I'm going to talk more about the skills and all that, but that we released it before having that available. Okay, let's see. I have noticed some of the progression percentages listed in the Go to My Courses section have not been updating. Yeah. And Lindsay, I do have your email that I need to investigate that. So, the Booksmatch, okay, for those of you who don't know, in the gym, So in the gym is entirely gamified. So you'll notice that here it says XP, and there's 2 XP, that's experience points. And when you're going through the gym and you click stuff off, it's all gamified. So it is, it's kind of fun. You get these, as you do things, you get these ka-chings. Let me turn one off and then turn it back on. You can kind of hear it goes ka-ching, and you get this little woo, and you get these points. When we first started designing Booksmatch, we were using those points to give you credit. We quickly found out, though, that the points in XP are not consistent. And so we do have all sorts of issues sometimes with the XP points not tallying the way they should. And for that reason, we stopped using the XP points and assigned our own points in Booksmatch. Okay, so we now have, like, underneath the covers, this now, it's not really, it triggers when you click this button, but it doesn't use the points that are associated with it. So it turns out that by doing it that way, we can be much more precise. And it's one of those situations where, I don't know if this has happened to me several times in my life, but it's one of those situations where, like, a really bad thing happened, and then we found out later, we thought it was bad at the time. We're like, oh, this is driving us crazy. These points don't work. But then because we had to redesign it, it turned out to be so much better than we initially thought. We're just able to be much more precise and accurate about what you're actually learning, what skills you're actually verifying. So we have issues with the points system in XP. It's really just for fun there. And so those points are not related to the numbers that you see here. Okay, let's talk about the skill groups. Okay, so I mentioned that we had so many individual skills that we just couldn't, like, our initial design, we had like just a wall of skills that somebody has learned, and we quickly realized I loved it because it was like, whoa, look how great this person is. But then we quickly realized that it was overwhelming, and people couldn't, it wasn't easy to search if you wanted to search for a candidate that had a specific skill. It just was too overwhelming. So instead, we organized them into these 10 skill groups. So the skill groups are sales and customer management, inventory management, special unique transactions, balance sheet transactions, bank feeds and reconciliation, expense and vendor management, troubleshooting, reporting, accounting workflows, and employees, contractors, and payroll. Okay, so if you click on any one of these skills, then it will give you a deeper dive into that particular, so this is the skill group. It will give you a deeper dive into the what exactly you learned. So every exercise that you do, you have to do it inside the gym. Just doing the exercises outside the gym doesn't, so like later we're going to do an exercise the week today together, but just doing it outside, like on the call, you don't get credit for. You have to do it inside the gym in order for these. But every exercise is encoded with what skills you are learning / reinforcing at that time, okay? With that exercise. And we're always reevaluating them. For those of you who were on the live stream last week, that exercise earned you like 5 skills because it was the chart of accounts, it was deleting accounts, it was merging accounts, it was customizing reports, okay? So each exercise that you do has, now what we're not doing a good job of it right now, but this will change because we know it's a whole. What we're not doing a good job of is telling you for each exercise which skills are being reinforced, okay? And so we know that that's something that's going to be valuable to you. And the opposite, like if you know that you want to reinforce certain skills, then if you want to go find those exercises and do them. The problem with that, the challenge for us is that the exercises are part of a larger scenario. Like that's why we have the gym. That's why it's the gym versus those 100 free exercises, which are just individual features. It's part, like when you're learning inventory, for example, and I'm going to take this off real quick. When you're learning inventory, for example, in June, you're not just doing an exercise about inventory. It's part of a whole scenario, a whole story of Craig selling plants at a farmer's market and selling keychains and some kid steals a keychain or somebody buys something and then returns it. It's part of a whole scenario. So that's one of the reasons why it's challenging for us to just say, oh, you want to reinforce this skill, then here's the exercises that reinforce that skill, because it's part of the whole story. But anyway, we know that that's a thing that you want, and so that's a thing that we're looking at. So here are all of the skills that Kim here in sales and customer management. Here are all of the skills in expense and vendor management that she has done. And you can also use this drop down to pull them down individually. Now, somebody asked about the bottom one here. The first column is you, okay? And then the second column is the group average. Is the group average, okay? So Kim, as I mentioned, is not doing very well. But the group average, that surprises me. Actually, the group average should be way higher. So I think there's something wrong there. Okay. All right. So you should see on yours, again, we're going to look at the recruiter side here in a minute, and then you'll see in real time, you'll see what people's look like. Okay. So this is your group comparison. And again, wouldn't it be nice if you could click on here and just go, oh, here's the list of exercises you can to build this up. Can you make the headings at the bottom of the graph darker? You mean right here? Yeah, it doesn't. Do other people have a problem seeing them? I feel like it's the same as all the others. All right, and also down at the bottom, we have your lifetime skill growth chart. And so you can see how many skills, and I can't remember. I need to ask them about how to explain that again. I can't remember when the dots appear. Like at what point are they measuring what these dots are? And then, several pets. That's interesting. It looks the same as everything else to me. It doesn't look, All right, I'll ask them and see what we can do about that. So anyway, so here's your lifetime skill growth chart. So these are so Kim here has achieved a total of 36 skills. She's reinforced a total of 36 skills. And and so this just says like what her trajectory is. And then here is every time that you verify a skill, you'll see it show up here. And this is how we know that consistency. Remember that consistency is looking at the last 2 weeks. And that's how we know that. What have you done in the last 2 weeks? The speed, okay? Okay. Okay. All right. So this you can see as it goes through, these are the different things that you have reinforced. Okay. The other thing that I want to point out, okay, so all we've been looking at so far has been your profile. Okay. We also have a built-in a contact tracker. Okay. The contact tracker is where you can track who has contacted you. You can move people over into the, if you're still working with them, these are the recruiters that have contacted you. You can make notes. You can, once they're an active client, you can pull them over there. Then we have a chat feature. Okay, so and I'm going to show you the recruiter side in a minute. If a recruiter reaches out to you, then you can chat with them inside. Once they reach out to you, then they become in your they come in your contact list. Okay, so you're not ever reaching out to them, they're reaching out to you. As soon as they reach out, then they appear in your contact list. And once you start working with them, you can decide where you want to be. Now, until you guys have some clients that you have found through Booksmatch, we're not going to know how good this works. I imagine that you're going to ask for all sorts of additional things. But for right now, like, this is just kind of our skeleton, kind of how it works. Okay, so this is the chat, this is your contact tracker, this is your profile. Okay, now let's see what the recruiters see. I know everyone's on the edge of their seat, and we do have to get to the exercise of the week, because that's the whole point of the live stream. Okay, so here is when somebody signs up for Booksmatch. Here is what they see, okay? And several of you are on this call right now, okay? So here is when they first log in, that knowledge, consistency, and speed, and your ranking, okay? So I can see, Jean, I know you're on this call if you've stuck with me this long. You need to load your QBO certifications. I assume you have them, so you need to load them right here, okay? So the person they're going to see, they're just going to go in, and this ranking changes all the time as you guys are working. They can sort only the top talents. We talked about what top talent means. Top talent means you're high in knowledge, not necessarily high in speed, just in rising talents. So rising talent is going to be high in speed, not necessarily high in knowledge, because these are the people that are working fast. Okay, and then there's everybody. You can sort them. So right now they're sorted by ranking. We could see who has the highest knowledge. So Billy, I think I might have seen Billy on this call today, currently has the highest knowledge. Consistency, so Donna probably is in working right now. You can see now why it's important to have your picture, okay? So we want to see, the person wants to see who you are, okay? Martin is our programmer. That's why he's the chicken. So that's why that's important. You can see the QBO certifications are right away, so you want to see that. The employment type, this is what we were talking about. Your location, I know we're all using QuickBooks Online, and I know we can all work remotely, but they frequently want to work with somebody who is close, okay? So, and then here's somebody with the highest speed. So here, look, Rosalba, I think I recognize that picture. So that you want to make sure that you have a name here, not your email address, okay? So let's take a look at somebody's profile. So we're going to go take a look. Oh, and then in addition to those, so this is just how they're sorted here. I can also look only. So if I'm looking only, I only want full-time people, I can search. This is again from the recruiter side. I can search only for full-time people. I can look in a certain zip code. I can look for people who have only certain certifications. Okay. And let's see what happens if I do that. Okay, so yep, so here we go. Alrighty, so let me clear that. I'm gonna put top, okay. Well, that's interesting. I need to, so this is knowledge high. So here's a person who has a high amount of knowledge, hasn't been consistently upskilling, and their speed is low. The speed is low, doesn't matter. So I'm actually thinking of making this gray or something that so that so recruiters know that just because this is red doesn't mean anything. If this is green and this is green, these are the two things that matter. All right. Oh, Lindsay asked a good question. I'm going to put this up. She says, if a recruiter checks the box looking for full-time people, if we have flexible chosen, will it still pull up the flexible people? I don't think it will. I think it, all right, so, oh, yep, Jean just put in, I think she put that in the chat. She just added her certification. All right, so now let's say the recruiter likes you and wants, and clicks you, okay? So then they're going to see exactly what you see right here, okay? So this is the exact same as what you see, okay? So here is the group comparison we talked about, okay? I'm going to check on this. This should be the group average. I can't believe that the average is so low, but maybe it is. I think maybe he told me because there's a lot of zeros. I don't know. So anyway, so here's here's how you stand out. They can pull up look at this, just like, whew, so many things, okay? And your growth chart. Okay, so now I'm the recruiter and I really like Jean, and there's two things that I can do. One, I could add you to my watch list, okay? That's how, when I add you to my watch list, over here, you know how it says you are on so many watch lists? Okay, that's how that happens, okay? Because somebody has added you to their watch list. That means, you know what? They're not quite ready to contact you, but you look good and I want to see over time. And so the recruiters have a similar kind of like bucket system where they can add you to their watch list. They can decide that they want to do an interview. They can, this must be a fake person too. Here's Kim Carson. And then they could hire you and make notes. When you're on the watch list, notice that some of these people have there's a little number there. And if you have upskilled since you were added to the watch list, then this little number will tick. And so then they'll be able to say, oh, Julie has reinforced 41 skills since I added her. So let me see what those are. So I can click that and I can see these are all of the skills that she added since I added her to the watch list. Let's see what else. So I can use the trash can to remove them from the watch list. All right, and then also from here, I can add, I can also open. All right, we're finally at a place where we can start testing this. So it's super exciting. All right, Jean loaded her QBO certification. Oh, by the way, let me show you what that looks like since Jean just did it. Okay, so here I am looking at Jean. So here I am and I'm looking and I can see, oh, QBO Advanced Pro Advisor. Oh, man. And when I click this, I'm supposed to be able to see your certification. Oh, I don't know why that's not working. Ebony says, is back Booksmatch another subscription? Nope, it's included with your gym membership. Isn't that amazing? Are they able to search for remote only? No, because we are all remote. We're all remote. Remote isn't even a thing. Let me answer a couple of questions that came up that I had skipped over. I said I was going to go over them last. And then, oh my gosh, guys, it's already 1 o'clock and we still haven't done the exercise. We're all about hands-on and we haven't done anything hands-on. So I'm still going to go through it. I know a ton of you have stayed on, which is shocking to me, but you can do the exercise on your own time. I did pick a very simple exercise this week because I knew we were going to spend a lot of time on Booksmatch. But let me answer a couple of questions. Somebody asked earlier in the chat if we were going to do a basic bookkeeping course, and that is high on my radar. So there are a lot of basic bookkeeping courses out there, a ton of them. So it's hard, and there's a part of me that is just really hard to want to add another one to the mix. But what I'm realizing with cleanup is that part of the problem with cleanup is that people are confused about what things should look like. So when you're looking at a mess, how do you know it's a mess if you don't know what it should look like? And so we are actively considering creating, whether it's like a mini course or, some kind of bookkeeping fundamentals or something that's basically like, what should it look like? Like, how should it work? Like, how should a clearing account work? How should, a big part in cleanup is receiving payments to undeposited funds or directly to the account. And it is people are confused about that. What should a loan look like? Okay, so that's really kind of my focus. So that might be coming. The other thing somebody asked was about where are the recruiters coming from, and who are these people? So I mentioned this last week, but I will mention it again. Okay. So, all right, I see some questions popping up, but let me talk about so I mentioned this last week, I'll mention it again, is where the recruiters come from. There are 3 buckets of people that are looking for bookkeepers, okay? The first bucket of people are the people who have jobs posted on Indeed and Monster. And I can't remember what else. I think we narrowed it down to 2 that have the most bookkeeping jobs posted. And so because those are easy, because those are already out there, because we already know that there's a need, those are the ones we're going after first. So we have, if it hasn't launched yet, it will launch any day now. They may be waiting on something from me, but it's imminent. We are going to reach out to all the people that have job postings for bookkeepers and say, hey, come look at our Booksmatch people. Come look at our Booksmatch. We have people who are pre-verified, skilled, whatever. It is, these people are already here. Okay, so that's our easiest bucket. So that's what we're doing first. And to answer somebody else's question, there's no charge for that. For those recruiters, there's no charge to be able to just look at our people. Okay. So that's like happening soon. So you might start getting a ton of leads. And as this happens, we want to know, how are the tools working for you? How are the columns and the chat and all of that working? And are these people like not good? Are they not good leads? Are they not serious people? Are they asking too much of you? Like, we want to know, because we're going to launch this big thing. We want to know how it's working for you. Okay, so that's one bucket. The other bucket is accounting firms who are looking for people to be either staff bookkeepers, so they would either be an employee of that accounting firm, or they would just be firms who have outsourced work and want to just add subcontractors so that as they get more work. I just had a conversation last week about the state of guys, there is such an accounting shortfall in the world. Like, the number of accounting jobs is expanding and the number of people to fill those jobs is shrinking. So the people who are trying to get jobs are being fought over by these people who are hiring. And accounting firms, by and large, have to turn clients away. They have to turn clients away because they don't have the capacity to be able to service these clients. And so I was just talking with a woman last week who she is an accounting firm consultant, and she just said it's just happening over and over. Like, people are at capacity. They don't have enough people. They don't have enough qualified people, and they want to hire people who are already qualified because they don't have the time to sit down and train them because they're so busy. Like, they're at capacity. So they don't have the time to sit down and train them. They want people who are already trained. And so in the next 60 days, I would say, we are going full bore into working with accounting firms and letting them know about you guys. So that's our second bucket. Our third bucket is later this year. I would want to say before the end of the year. I mean, that's our goal, is to have it before the end of the year, is the actual business owners who are looking for bookkeepers. And the business owners are, like, they don't know, nobody knows how to hire a bookkeeper. They don't know how much they should be charging. They don't know if their bookkeeper is any good. They don't, like, the business owners, they're too busy. They don't know. They hired somebody who's not working out, or they're trying to do it themselves, or like whatever. So that third group of people, the business owners themselves, that's our later in the year. That's what those people. Now, the high preference is going for those clients is going to be people who have gone through the cleanup course, because we are going to be doing diagnostic reviews and cleanups for these people, and you have to know how to do that. Okay. So those are the three buckets. Now, I will tell you kind of a fourth-ish bucket is me. I no longer have my bookkeeping practice because I am 100% dedicated to you now. And, but I still have my profile, my ProAdvisor profile out there. I do nothing. I do no marketing at all, but I still get leads all the time on my ProAdvisor profile. And I don't want to send them to, just Booksmatch in general. So this is what I did the other day. I had a ProAdvisor lead come in. I wrote them an email, said, I'm sorry, I'm no longer taking clients. I highly recommend. And what did I do? I went into Booksmatch as a recruiter, and I picked the highest ranked person there. And I said, I highly recommend this person. And so that person reached out to me and said, oh my gosh, thank you for the lead. This looks like it's going to be really lucrative. And it was her. Like, she was the one that put in the work. I just went into Booksmatch and said, who's the highest one? And I just gave him that lead. So anyway, that's kind of like a fourth-ish person. And actually, my business partner said that he does that all the time, and we have. And so I don't know. One of the great things about adding the chat feature is now we'll be able to have some statistics now. We'll be able to track how many people are looking at your profiles, how many people are reaching out to you, how many contracts are being landed. We couldn't do that before because before, when Booksmatch just had your email address, we had no way of tracking whether your lead came from us or not. And so now we can track that, and we'll be able to provide you with like reports showing, hey, this is how many people are signed up as recruiters. This is how many jobs got filled. This is how many leads were generated, like that kind of stuff. Okay, all right. That is the end of that. Okay, so I think we are all done now that it's over 2 hours. Over 2 hours that we've been spending on Booksmatch. I'm now going to do the exercise of the week. I understand if you guys have to leave and you guys don't want to stick with me to do the actual exercise. You can watch the recording. You can do it on your own as a reminder, or you can stick with me. It's up to you. A shocking number are still with me. Yeah, okay. And so those of you who are still with me and you want to keep going, we're going to do the exercise of the week. Thank you, Joel. Also is stuck with me for an extraordinary long time. So the exercise of the week is, remember, it is available if you have the, let me share my screen. Okay. If you have earned 250 points, those are XP points. If you've earned 250 points in year one of the gym, then exercise of the week will be unlocked, okay? Otherwise, the only way to get the exercise is to be on the live stream every week. Now, thank you. I lost my train of thought. People give me compliments and then I blush and then I lose my train of thought. So the only reason we have the exercise of the week is so that you can make sure that you keep your consistency high. Okay, we want you to have high consistency. If you have other exercises available to you still in the gym, you can do any exercise. You don't have to do the exercise of the week. You can do any exercise and it will keep your consistency high. So this is specifically for people who don't have any other exercises left and still need something to, to be an exercise, to do something to keep that consistency high. Okay. So today's exercise, I knew that I was going to talk a lot about Booksmatch, so I picked a simple one, and that it is adding a vendor, okay? Now, this exercise is continuing our series of the Pro Advisor challenges. Now, the Pro Advisor challenges are exercises that are provided by Intuit inside your QBOA account. We have been working through these beginning of the year. Last week we had a special circumstance and we did a different one. And today we're back doing, we did a non-Pro Advisor challenge because we had a special circumstance. The one I picked today, we're going out of order a little bit, so that I could pick a really basic level one. And so we're going to do that. Next week, we'll pick up more challenging back where we were before and keep working through them in order. So the first thing that we need to do is find it. If you want to find the original, it's inside your QBOA account. So I'm just going to go, I don't usually do this. I usually have this set up, but I'm using temporary account, so it should be okay. All right. So here I am inside my QBO A account. Let me go back to the exercise. I'm going to close this. Go back to the exercise, okay? So inside your QBO A account is the training that Intuit provides, and these Pro Advisor challenges are scattered throughout the training. So once you log into your QBO A account, you're going to go to training, that are going to hover over Pro Advisor, then click training. You're going to go to the training library and select QuickBooks Online, which is probably already open, but we'll take a look at where that is. Okay, so here I am in QuickBooks Online. I'm in my accountant account. I know that I'm in an accountant account because it says accountant up at the top, because this left nav bar is gray, and because it's divided into your practice and your books. Okay, so your practice is the clients that you're working with. Your books is your own QBO for yourself. Okay, so under here you're going to go to Pro Advisor and select Training. This, by the way, is where the recertification will show up. Okay, we've been on the edge of our seat since April 1st. Waiting for the recertification. It's still not here. This is not, I think 1 year it came out on the 25th, so we still haven't made a record yet, but this is where it's going to be. So the training center is divided into these 4 sections, and training library is where you can see all of the training that they provide. They have product training, which they have QuickBooks Online, which is already opened up here. It usually is. They have QuickBooks Payments, online payroll, and time. Then they have other skills, foundational skills, advising a client, etc. Okay, so what we want is QuickBooks Online. I'm going to go back to the exercise. Okay, so we've gone to QuickBooks Online. Then you're going to go to click the expenses and vendor tile. So if you look here, okay, so the training is divided into these different modules. And so there's a tile for each module. And then here is the expenses and vendors. Until all this year so far, we've been dealing with the ones that were in sales and customers. So now we're doing the first one in expenses and vendors. Now the modules are divided up into beginner and intermediate and advanced skills. The intermediate skills are the ones that are on the basic level certification test. The advanced skills are the ones that are on the advanced level certification test. And the beginner skills are just, basic introductory things. You're not tested on those. Okay, so you're going to find this particular, I'm going to go back to here. Okay, so we went to expenses and vendors. So we're going to find this particular Pro Advisor challenge under beginner expenses. Okay, beginner skills. So beginner skills. Okay. And then we want number 3, adding vendors. Okay, adding vendors right here. Okay, all right. So then on the right-hand side, it lists all of the different topics. Pro Advisor Challenge is one of them. Sometimes you can click it and it will go right there. Sometimes, like today, you can't. So we're going to have to scroll through today and get to it. The reason we'll show you why sometimes it doesn't let you click all the way through. Because there is a knowledge check. So sometimes there's sometimes, what happened? Sometimes there's a knowledge check that you have to go through. Which field allows clients to store the tax ID number of a vendor to be used in Forms 1099? All right, let's see. So here it is. We go right here, business ID or social security number. Business ID number right there. Okay. So now that opened up the Pro Advisor Challenge. So the Pro Advisor Challenge, they always have a task. Then they have the solution, which just tells you how to know if you did it right. And then they have how to do it, which is step-by-step directions, but not with pictures or anything. So we think that our way of doing it is better. And so that's what we are going to follow along. So in the Pro Advisor Challenge, it will say this little first part here tells you to load the sample company. So let's go ahead and do that. Load the sample company. Okay, so here we are in Craig's Design and Landscaping. Okay, and here we have instructions. All right, and I'm going to put these side by side so that we can read through it. So I'm going to click Guide Me. The reason that Guide Me works is because I have the Scribe extension loaded in my Google Chrome. So it's called Scribe How if you want to also load it. It used to be, you know, when we first started using it, it did this kind of split window here. And then they switched to having two separate windows, and now I see that it's gone back. My screen is blurry. Oh, that's weird. It doesn't look blurry to me. Sorry, I don't know why it would be blurry for you. Okay, so here is the exercise that we have been going through. Let me make this. Oh, it doesn't make that one bigger. It just makes the left one bigger. All right, but hopefully Joel put the link in the chat. So, all right. So so we loaded the sample company. Okay. So here's our scenario. Help Craig add a new vendor to his vendor list. Here's what you need to know, and here's all the information about the vendor, Brianna Bunzel. Okay. So here's all of her information. She's a sole proprietor, so any payments must be tracked for 1099s. Okay, so we're going to see how to do that. If you're brand new, if you were brand new and today was your first live stream and I talked for over 2 hours before actually getting to the exercise, I am so sorry. But if you are brand new and you need a refresher on terminology, vendors are people that your client buys stuff from, and customers are people that your client sells stuff to. Okay, so here's, in this case, your client, Craig. So we're now in the sample company. Notice it doesn't say accountant up here anymore. Now this is black. Okay, so now, and it says here sample company. You can tell we're in as an accountant because we have this option that says accountant tools. So now we are in using we're in Craig's account as if we are Craig's accountant. Okay. So we are going to add a vendor. Now there's a number of ways, lots and lots and lots of ways to add vendors, but we're going to we're going to follow the directions that are inside the Pro Advisor Challenge. So in their case, it says from the left navigation bar, hover over expenses, then select vendors or expenders, and right here we're going to select vendors. I want to point out, for those of you who are not so new, that they recently added under plus new the ability to add a vendor right here. Okay, this is brand new. Add customer, add vendor, add contractor, add product and service. That's all new. But what we're used to doing is going to expenses and vendors, and that's what we're following the instructions here for. Okay, and we're going to click new vendor. In the company name, okay, we're going to type Breeze Beach Craft. Okay. Notice that when I fill this out, it automatically puts it in the vendor display name. Okay. I can change what shows up in the vendor display name, and that affects any lists that I see anywhere. We choose what will show up there. Okay. So step 5, in the first name field, we're going to type Brianna right here. In the last name field, we're going to type Bunzel. Okay, notice what just happened. It changed the vendor display name to her first name. Okay, now I can choose, if I want to use this down arrow, I can choose how it displays. I can choose the company name to always display if I want, or continue the actual name of the person, or I can be last name, comma, first. The directions don't tell us to change it, so we're not going to change it. Okay, in the email field, we're going to type this, whatever this is, Bree BC. Getting rid of that quotation mark. In the phone number field, don't ask me why in this phone number field they're not using an area code, but then in the mobile number field, they do want us to use an area code. All right, I don't know. All right, so now we're gonna complete the address. So we're gonna skip down to this section. One little quick tip, these right here are quick links down to the section. So this is gonna be the address section, so I can go directly to that address section. They don't tell us to do that in this exercise, but hey, now we know. Okay. So we're going to be 123 City Street is going to be our address. Oakland, California. Zip code right there. Okay. Ooh, preview address. I wonder what that does. Oh, interesting. I've never clicked that before. I don't know if it existed before or not. I've never clicked it. Okay, so curiously, so this is kind of like an interesting thing. If you are in, there is no sample company for payroll. So if you're considering taking our Fast and Easy QBO payroll course, we actually teach you how to set up in a live-ish company, not in a sample company. And in payroll, every time you add an address somewhere, it has to be an actual address. Like it will verify when you're typing in that is an actual address while you're doing it. That is true everywhere in payroll. But in QBO, as you can see, I can put in a fake address somewhere and it doesn't check me. It doesn't care. All right, in the business ID social security number field, type this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And where is that? Right here, additional info. We're going to put that right here. Okay. Now it did say in this scenario that she's a sole proprietor, and so we need to track payments for 1099s. There is a whole decision tree about whether you have to actually do 1099s for people. And I think that's in the basic course. So I think that, anyway, so it's always good to say track 99s. You can turn this off or on for anybody. It doesn't matter at any time. We'll pull it in. And I just learned in Alicia's, in the podcast that I've been harping, you guys need to be listening to this podcast. I just learned that if you are using payment method, then for a vendor, if you select payment method, it will actually use that for whether to track 1099s. So that's a discussion for another time, but I wanted to throw that out there for those of you who may know about that. Okay? All right. In the terms field, select net 30. Okay, so terms is how long you have to pay any bill that comes. Okay, so if Brianna sends you a bill and you put it in QBO, it will automatically, for her, show as net 30, meaning you have 30 days to pay this bill. Okay, so you have different terms for different vendors, and so this will just be the default for Brianna. Okay, we're going to leave the opening balance blank. I don't know why they are pointing that. There's lots of fields we left blank. I don't know why they're telling us to specifically leave this one blank, but you know what? This is their exercise and not mine. Okay? All right. So, and then that's it. We're going to click save. And now I'm going to close this. No, I don't want to save that. Okay, so now Brianna is right here in my list of vendors. And now I can create a bill, I can create an expense, and all of her information is there. I can also create vendors just on the fly at any time, and I can put in all of that information there. And so that is adding a vendor. Very basic. Now, this exercise that we did where we just learned how to do this is now, if you did this in the exercise of the week and you checked it off, okay, so here we are, you did this, you clicked this, and then you checked it off saying that you did it, now you just earned Booksmatch skill points, okay? They show up 10 minutes, so it won't refresh. It refreshes for you every 10 minutes unless somebody pulls you up. So you pulling up your profile, you're not going to see it right away, but any recruiter who pulls up your profile will see it. It always refreshes whenever they pull up your profile, okay? So you'll see it reflected in your account in 10, it does it every 10 minutes. So let me just go, okay? So what that, come on. Okay? So what that means is that under expense and vendor management, you will see a new skill here, assuming you did it inside the gym, inside the exercise of the week. You'll see listed here a new item that says adding vendors, okay? And so that will affect your comparison there, okay? Let me see if there are any questions before I go to our marketing prompt, and then that will be the last thing. All right, I guess people are just signing off. Oh my gosh, a huge number of you are still with me. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe how many of you guys are still with me. Okay, somebody says, is it easy to migrate from QBO desktop to QBO Online? I have a possible client that has 2019 desktop version. I cannot answer that. We can't answer that. I would recommend that, Joel, if you're still there, Joel might have taken off, but if you're still there, if you could post the resources list. And I recommend that you go post in one of the peer groups listed in the resources list. Then people can talk about migrations. We only talk about what we do at Fast and Easy QBO. Okay, last thing, and then that's it. I will let you go off to your weekend, is the marketing prompts. So one of the things that you get with the gym is every time you work in the gym, you get, oh shoot, I forgot to send this to you, Joel, to put in the chat. Could somebody put in the chat, somebody that has access to this? I don't know if Joel is still on, because it's been a really long time. It's been a really, really long time. I totally forgot. Oh, good. Joel is still there. Let me send you the marketing prompt. I forgot to do that this morning. Joel is absolutely a trooper today. Okay, So now he's going to put that. So as you always get a marketing prompt, which you can use in LinkedIn to attract attention. Now, I don't have time today because we are like crazy, ridiculous, like time over, but you can see in previous ones, and I am at some point going to record a video specifically on the 3-2-1 method. That's the only method that I use to, it's the only method that I recommend for marketing at all. We're not a marketing company. We don't teach marketing, but we But we have one method that I recommend, and that's it. And then otherwise, I just tell you, Joel posted the resources list. There's other recommendations there. But you can use this with the 3-2-1 method. The idea is not necessarily for people to respond to this specific prompt, but to just continue waving your flag, say, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Okay? So it says, you learned about adding vendors. Here's a sample post. Hey, business owner, how much did you have to scramble the last time you needed 1099s for your vendors? Don't wait until the last minute. Get their W-9 as soon as you hire them and plug it into QuickBooks Online now. Connect with me right away and I'll show you how to do this. Then you can thank me in January. Okay? And I didn't actually go over how to plug in the W-9. You can, there's a couple of ways to do it, but let me just show you real quick. If I go back into the vendor, this wasn't part of the exercise, but if I go back into the vendor and click edit, you can add attachments right here. So you can just add an attachment right here. That way, you know that you have their W-9. And there's also a way to tell QBO that they have the W-9. I can't remember though. It is, it's in one of the gym exercises where we go into a lot of detail about that. Oh my gosh, you guys. Marathon call today. Crazy. All right, I think that we are done. I think that I got all of the questions answered. I think we're all set to go. I think I'm ready to say goodbye and have a great weekend. And it was so great having you with us today. And send that Booksmatch feedback. Send it to support@fastandeasyqbo.com. Anthony is going to kill me, but I want to hear it, especially as you start getting leads, especially as you start using it more and more, as you're not seeing things, affected the way that you think that they should be affected. I want to know it all. I want to know it all because we are always trying to make your life better. Okay. All right. That's it. Happy Friday. I will see you on Monday for Mindset Monday. Have a great weekend. I can't wait to hear your success story.